my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, nah, likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into...
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to State of the Steelers. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to our Friday night Q&A, where we take a few of your questions and your comments and just kind of talk a little bit about the upcoming matchup between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New Orleans Saints in a couple of days. Hope everybody's having a fantastic week or weekend. Friday's here, and so we got a couple of early ongoers in the live chat. Let's say hello to them. Steelers fan always in the building. Good seeing you. Drunk Turkey Show, my other show that I have with a couple of my buddies. In fact, their link is in the description. Go check them out. So, Pittsburgh Steelers have a game this weekend. Feels like forever since the Pittsburgh Steelers played, given the fact that they're coming off of the bye week. And with that being said, we're off of a losing game against the Eagles. One that was an embarrassing matchup. So it just feels good to finally get in front of get in the stadium, get in front of fans again, and have the Steelers get to watch them and hopefully wash this bad taste in our mouth as a fan base of what we've seen here recently. And so hopefully the Pittsburgh Steelers can turn it around. I think they got a chance. I think they have a chance. They're playing a New Orleans Saints team that's pretty banged up as well. You look at their offense, and we'll go through their injury report to this point. So Marcus Davenport, their defensive end, he's been a limited participant this week. He's questionable for this game against the Steelers. Mark Ingram is out, the running back. He's been dealing with a knee issue. Jarvis Landry, he's been a limited participant, hasn't played much this year. He was supposed to be one of these dynamic receivers for the New Orleans Saints, and he really hasn't been that up to this point yet. And so he doesn't have a designation yet, but he's not a guy that the Steelers aren't familiar with. So I anticipate the Steelers being okay even if he does come and play, but he doesn't have a designation at this point. Marshawn Lattimore, cornerback, he's going to be out. And you're looking at their center, Eric McCoy. He is also out. The guard, Andrus Pete, he's going to be out. So these are, their offensive tackle. He's been dealing with a knee issue, but he was a full participant, so I think he's going to be playing. But when you look at their guard, their center, that's key members of the interior offensive line that are going to be out. You anticipate Cam Hayward having a big day. Larry Ogunjobi is supposed to be coming back. He's going to have a big day, especially with the return of TJ Watt. There's going to have to be a lot of attention given to TJ Watt. So the interior is going to have to, pick it up. And I think when you look at the guys that they're going to be going up against, this could be this could be a defensive dominated game by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's say hello to a couple of other guys in the live chat. Big Blue in the house. How's it going, Big Blue? These are my buddies from the Drunk Turkey Show. Again, please subscribe and like to them. Don't forget, guys, we're giving away 2 tickets to the Steelers versus the Vegas Raiders game tomorrow. We'll be giving them away to a lucky subscriber. We'll be doing a crossover show between us, the State of the Steelers, and the Drunk Turkey Show. The links to enter into those contests are in the description now. You must be a subscriber to tomorrow when we go on live. Only subscribers will be allowed to enter into the comment section of the live chat. And so tomorrow we'll be giving you guys a code word to enter into the live chat, and you'd have to be a subscriber to enter that. So I highly recommend hitting that subscribe button. Get 2 opportunities to get into the contest, being a subscriber on State of Steelers and being a subscriber on our sister show, the Drunk Turkey Show. And links are in the description. So go do that before tomorrow, and good luck with that. And we'll talk about that more probably by the end of the show again. about how to enter into that contest. Tomorrow's the big day, guys. Somebody's going to take home 2 tickets to the Steelers versus Vegas Raiders game. It's in the lower level too. These are in the end zone. It's a fantastic view. So one of you lucky subscribers will be taking home those 2 tickets. So good luck. Links are in the description. But yeah, back to what I was saying. So you're looking at the interior offensive line here for the New Orleans Saints being, injured and whatnot. And so you would anticipate, especially with the return of TJ Watt and the attention that he deserves and he brings in, that the Steelers are going to, potentially could have a field day up front. And if they can control the trenches and up front, that'll bode well for the likelihood of victory in this game. Questionable. Oh, I'm sorry. I went past one. Pete Werner, their linebacker, he's been dealing with an ankle injury. He is also out. Questionable is Marcus May, their safety. He's also having an abdomen issue. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name. He's a linebacker. Tano Passanog. I apologize. He's questionable. And PJ Williams, cornerback for the New Orleans Saints, is also questionable. And so with that being said, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers have an opportunity here to potentially steal a win, steal a victory in this game, especially, they're going to be able to control the trenches. Now, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, William Jackson is going to have to wait another week before he gets to make his debut as a Pittsburgh Steeler. Akila Weatherspoon was placed on IR. So we're looking at the combination of Cam Sutton, James Pierre, and Levi Wallace. And when you look at Levi Wallace, he's been a little bit burnt here recently. And so, it's going to be, if the Steelers can apply pressure with limited amount of rush, only utilizing 3-4 guys. And I think with the issues that the Saints have on the offensive line, I think that the Steelers can do that. And then I think this is going to be a well dominated game defensively for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the Steelers are going into this game, with injuries as well. You're looking at, like I mentioned before, William Jackson's going to be out. Akila Weatherspoon was placed on IR. Chris Boswell was placed on IR, so we won't be seeing him for the next, 4 games. That's big, I think that he was, Boz was kind of struggling a little bit, especially early on. He had a few misses, extra points, things of that nature. He even kicked the ball out of bounds at one point on a kickoff. And so, these were things that were uncharacteristic of Boswell, in my opinion. And so, it was very reminiscent of a few years back. What was it? When he was injured as well and had a bunch of misses and legitimately potentially, cost the team the playoffs that year. But with that being said, the Steelers re-signed or signed away from the practice squad Matthew Wright of the Kansas City Chiefs. He's a guy that's familiar to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was, he was the field goal place kicker back in 2020 during the COVID season. So he saw some action during that year. Here most recently, he had a 59-yarder for the Kansas City Chiefs. So, his leg strength may have gotten a little bit better, but, from what I remember from him is he's always been somewhat accurate or fairly accurate, especially within the 45. So, the Pittsburgh Steelers moving the ball in between the 20s hasn't, not been an issue. It's not been consistent, but it's been more it's been better for the Pittsburgh Steelers versus what they've been able to do once inside the 20s. And so getting into position for potentially putting 3 on the board a few times in Sunday's game, I have confidence in Matthew Wright being able to do that, also given his experience in Acrisure Stadium. So we got a few more people up here in the live chat. Let's see what we got. We got Aaron Jade say, wish I could mail it back up to the Berg. I'm down here in Texas. We're having a little bit of a cold front. If you're up in Pittsburgh right now, let me know what the weather's like. I'm sure it's cold right now. It's cold down here, so I think I'm good where I'm at. Not going to the Berg for a cold one. However, I will be going to go see the Pittsburgh Steelers this year one more time. I'll be going to Pittsburgh for the last game of the season in January. I believe it's on January 8th ish, somewhere around there. I think it still hasn't been determined whether or not it's going to be on Saturday or Sunday. However, I'll be going up there for the Steelers versus Browns game, last game of the season. Hopefully, it's for something. Hopefully, it's for potentially a playoff spot. I would love to. I would love to be in a game that mattered that much, especially against a division rival. This will be my first division rivalry game that I'll be going to, so I'm excited about it. But yeah, there's a lot of games to be played before we get there. But let's see. We have Marky D in the live chat. What's going on, Mark? Tomorrow, the Unofficial Steelers podcast with myself and Steelers Nation Australia and Nathan Hines from In Hindsight will be on tomorrow night as well before the ticket giveaway. And so we'll be going on there. So check us out. Hear what we have to say as we preview the Saints game and talk a little bit of Steelers football. Also, go make sure you go and subscribe to Mark Davison. He's getting so close to 1,000 subs. Let's go help him get there. Let's see. We have JJ52. How's it going? How's it going? Let's see. Oh, make it back up there. Yeah. I figured. I should have probably said that. My bad. How's it going, Patricia? Good to see you in the live chat. David Jr. haven't been able to go to a game yet. Still something I have to do. You really do. It is, going to Acrisure Stadium. It's amazing. There's not a bad view or a bad seat in the stadium. I have a buddy of mine named Trevor. He's going to be going. He's going to be going to this upcoming game. He's going to be in the section 524, I believe is what he told me, which is above my section. These tickets, if you guys want to see, where they're located at in the stadium, is in section 122. They're in the same section if you follow behind the steel curtain, pretty close to where Dave Schofield sits. We're one row apart on opposite ends. And so he actually helped me find these tickets and helped me become a season ticket holder. And so, kudos to him, and I appreciate what he's been able to do. And that interaction is what ended up helping me, eventually get start doing podcasting and developing into me now working for Behind the Steel Curtain as I do their Saturday audio podcast only show. So if you're interested in listening to my perspective while I'm on Behind the Steel Curtain, check them out you got to go check them out on audio only. It's not on YouTube or anything, but just search up Behind the Steel Curtain and State of the Steelers on Apple and Google, and I'll pop up. It's going to be coming out every Saturday morning. So tomorrow I talk about if the Steelers can get right in this game. So you don't want to miss it. Go check it out. Let's see. Who else do we have up here in the live chat? Let's see. Marky, I got to listen to that audio. I always forget. Yeah. Sometimes I forget to share it. It's not all on you, man. I forget to share it. See, Aaron Jade says, been to Three Rivers for a Pirates game when I was younger and have seen the Steelers fan in Tampa. Today, Bettis had 167 yards rushing, but never have been to the new stadium. Oh, man, this new stadium is amazing. And if you go down to I recommend getting there early if you do end up going and checking out like they have the FedEx Grand Hall down there where they have all the Super Bowl trophies, and they have all the memorabilia, the Steelers Hall of Fame and a Hall of Honors. I'm sorry. And so it's amazing down there. There's different levels. There's if you end up going into the Champions Club, that one's an amazing experience. I've sat in different places in Acrisure Stadium, been there a couple of times before I became a season ticket holder. And so there's not a bad seat there. It's one thing that I tell everybody is like every position that you're in, you have a really good view of the field, and the atmosphere is amazing, especially when the screen goes out and you start hearing the Renegade song come on, and everybody starts getting on their feet and starts jumping, and the Renegade it's an amazing experience. Every time the Steelers get a first down, the entire crowd goes crazy and yells another Steelers first down, and it's a sea of black and gold every time I've gone, and it's an amazing experience. And I've only gone to like a few games. However, I've never been to a divisional game, so me going there on this year against the Cleveland Browns is something I'm really, really looking forward to. But good luck if whoever wins the tickets for the Steelers versus Raiders game the day before on December 23rd. It's on Friday. I believe it's at 329. Art Rooney and the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be meeting outside of Acrisure Stadium. They're going to have a celebration in honor of the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception, and that reception is called an Immaculate Celebration. So if you win these tickets and you're able to get out there a day early, I highly recommend to go out there and check that out, and you'll have my email. I would hope you would share pictures and your experience with me on your trip. So good luck to that. But if you have any questions about the game or about the Steelers in general, send them my way. That's what we're here for. We're here for the Q&A. Let's see. Robert Cotting says, "Congratulations, Daniel, on your bundle of joy that's coming to you." Thank you very much. Me and the wife are super excited. For those that don't know, my wife is expecting. We'll be having a little girl. We had the gender reveal. Was it last week? And it came out pink. It's my third daughter now, and so. I thought maybe, it would be blue this time, but no, that's not what God had in plans for me. So, we're excited still. We're hoping that, everything goes smooth, but we'll be having a little baby girl come May. But thank you very much. We appreciate that. Thank you, Aaron J. Thank you. Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. It's my wife's first, and, her family and my in-laws, they're extremely happy, and they're over the moon about this entire situation. It's their first grandbaby as well, and so it's a good time. It's a good time. I appreciate it, guys. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Let's see. Speaking of my wife, there she is. Thank y'all very much. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this game. I'm looking forward to the Steelers getting back on a winning record. The Steelers are supposed to take this one game at a time, the players, the coaches, the staff. But I'm a fan. And so I look ahead of the schedule, and I think when you're looking ahead of the schedule, the next 4 games are very winnable games. And I think the Steelers need to, of course, they need to start off with the first one. But if they're able to do that, do what they're supposed to and take care of business and start playing the way they're expected to play, I anticipate this team being in the mix, and it could make for an interesting end of the season. That's for sure. But these next few games are games that the Pittsburgh Steelers can win. It starts off with the New Orleans Saints, starts off with a familiar foe in Andy Dalton. This is a guy that Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers know what his tendencies, likes, dislikes are. And so I don't anticipate him surprising us. Now, when you have a team that is injured as much as the New Orleans Saints offensively, when you look at their receiving core being basically just Chris Olave and Kamara as their only 2 weapons, you would anticipate that there's probably going to be a little bit of trickery. I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers get some passes, especially from their tight end Hill, who is at one point was their quarterback. And so I wouldn't be surprised seeing some trickery, and the Steelers are going to have to be on their toes to make sure and defend those type of things. The Steelers can be a little bit aggressive and can get to a certain, can be negligent of discipline and of their containment, especially when a team is running on them. There's been several occasions where if a team starts to run the ball on the defense starts to cheat a little bit. And once they start to see that the running back or the receiver's getting a jet sweep or the running back's getting a handoff, they start to collapse that direction. And when it turns into a play action pass or a misdirection type of play, it ends up biting the Steelers pretty bad. So, I know that it's happened and the Steelers have been bit by some trick plays, but in this game, they're going to have to understand that This team is hindered by with a lot of offensive injuries, and they're going to probably pull out something out of the trick bag. So I'm hoping these Steelers anticipate that. Let's see. Right here, we have a good question. How many sacks do you think TJ Watt will have on Sunday? Man, given their offensive line issues, right? And opposite of TJ Watt is, I think he's still leading the NFL in sacks. I'm not sure if somebody passed him this bye week or not, but it's Alex Highsmith. You have Cam Hayward, who's also being healthy. I think that, I wouldn't be surprised if TJ Watt comes out with 2 or 2.5 sacks. I'm going to go with 2.5, especially out in the second half. I think the Saints are going to try to, scheme TJ Watt out, try to slide, help to him, putting a tight end, keeping a tight end in, or perhaps even going heavier with an extra tackle. And what that's going to do is going to allow some one-on-one situations with Larry Ogunjobi, Cam Hayward, Highsmith. And if those guys can take advantage of those situations, it's going to force the Saints to play a little bit more honest, and thus that's going to give TJ Watt probably even more ample opportunity to get to the quarterback. But I see him getting at least 2.5. I think this is going to be a big game for him. He was playing lights out before he got hurt against Cincinnati, and so I think that if he's 100% healthy and there's no re-injury or anything like that, I think TJ Watt is going to continue in that pace, and I can't wait to see him coming out. Thank you so much, Robert, for your question. Let's see. Taysom Hill too. Yeah, Taysom Hill. He's a guy that I think they do a lot of not trick plays with him, but they utilize him a lot in different areas. And so it can't really be a trick play if they use it a lot. So, he has a high rushing average too. I think every time he does a rushing play, he has like an 8.6 yard per average. So it's definitely going to be, he's a guy that the Steelers need to watch out for. Turn down for what? Yeah. I can't wait. Steelers fan goes, I can't wait to see the Steelers vibe of the team with Watt back. Me too. I think in this game as well, this is a game where, and the last one at home was the one that I was at against Tampa Bay, and they called out the offense. And this is before, pregame when they called out the announcers announced the players. It was offense last time. Kenny Pickett came out last. Everybody cheered. This time it's the defense's turn. And so I anticipate TJ Watt being the last guy coming out of the tunnel. And I anticipate that being an electric moment. And that's going to be the start of something amazing for this team if they can get in the right and they can use that electricity correctly. I hope the Steelers end up kicking the ball first and allow Andy Dalton to, take the field first. That way TJ Watt can get reaccounted with him. And so I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait. If Aaron Jade says, if we use Pat Fryermuth over the middle of the field and try a few long, it will open up the running game. I agree. I think the other thing that the Steelers need to do is they need to attack the sideline deep, and it has to be leading the receivers. That's been my one criticism of Kenny Pickett up to this point, is that he hasn't led receivers. There's been very little yards after catch. A lot of his passes are comebacks or back shoulder passes, and that allows for defenses to kind of hone in on those things. And I think if he attacks down the field and leads receivers and allows them to get yards after the catch, that's also going to help out tremendously for this running game. I heard this week that the Steelers were giving Jalen Warren a little bit more snaps there at the running back position with the ones. And so it'll be exciting to see. It'll be exciting to see how that ends up playing out. But this is a tough defensive line that the Saints have, and so it's going to be a ground and pound or battle for whoever's going to be lined up at the running back position. Let's see. Robert Cotton says, "Damn, Jay, who is your best defensive player of all time?" I take Lawrence Taylor. Of all time, well, I'm a little bit biased, to be honest with you. So I watched a lot of just Steelers football. Growing up, that's all I did. And my favorite player growing up was Troy Polamalu. Some of the things that he did and the way he played the game and how humble he was doing, being in the game. He wasn't a guy that disrespected anybody or took disrespect either, but he was a guy that let his actions on the field do the talking for him. And he was a guy that made spectacular plays routinely. He put the bar super high for the remaining defensive backs or the safeties for the Pittsburgh Steelers, for decades now. So anybody that dons the black and gold that's in that safety position will be compared to Troy Polamalu. And I think Troy is my favorite all-time defensive player. I have like 4 jerseys of him still. I had a pup back in the day. She was a Rottweiler. Her name was Polamalu. I called her Malu for short. And so I'd have to say Troy Polamalu. Thank you for the question. Let's see. Patricia asks, TJ already activated? I don't think so. Let me double check that real quick. But last time I looked, he was not activated as of yet. But he did come out and say that he was expecting to play in this game and would be activated. So, going based on what he said and also the fact that he's been practicing and participating in practice, I feel there's a strong likelihood he's going to be activated tomorrow. The Don asks, how do you feel about everyone switching on Najee for having a slow sophomore year? I mean, I think it's a little bit justifiable to a certain extent. I don't think that switching on him is probably, the best thing, especially for him. He's a young guy. To give him so much criticism and get in his head wouldn't be great. But, the criticism is justified. That's what I would like to say. The criticism of Najee Harris's play this year is justified. However, I think that this isn't a situation, in my opinion, that can't be fixed or rectified. When you look at Najee Harris and you look at potentially some of the decisions that he made, especially to come back, into a second year heavier than he was before, that probably wasn't the smartest decision, especially when speed wasn't his game. He was more of a bruiser type of guy or a bigger guy that's going to wear you down. And he wasn't a guy everybody knew that he wasn't a guy that was going to get into the open field and just run away from people. And so him coming in heavier and potentially slowing down a little bit more due to it probably wasn't the smartest idea. Now, he's also been injured a lot or throughout the majority part of the first part of the season. He recently had a metal plate taken out of his shoe. And so I understand the reasons behind the poor play that he's had to this point. But at that point, you have to fault the coaches for keeping him in there. I mean, at a certain point, you got to protect the player from himself. And if he's hurt and unable to get to a certain weight or degree or whatever speed, he needs to take a step back and get there, because I think he is a dynamic player. And when you look at what he was able to do last season with an offensive line that was way worse than what we currently have right now, I feel that it's just a matter of time and him getting back healthy. And in my opinion, hopefully maybe this offseason he takes a page out of Le'Veon Bell and James Conner's playbook, where in their second season they came back a little bit lighter. They were a little bit faster, a little bit more explosive. And I think if Najee Harris can do that, just drop maybe about 15 pounds, get in there about 225, 228, somewhere around there instead of 245. I think, or maybe even like 225, I think would be good for him. 230 at the top. But at 245, I think it's just a little too big, especially with the type of runs that he wants to do. He wants to jump over people. He wants to shake and bake. And right now he doesn't have the ability to do that. And, in my opinion, if he's, drops a little bit of weight, gets a little bit quicker, gets that burst, gets healthy, I think he'll be a dynamic back in the future. But for right now, the criticism is granted, in my opinion. He's missing holes. You look at some of the decisions that he's made when, and everybody knows what play I'm talking about when he got passed on the, I think it was like 3rd and 2, and he started shaking instead of running forward. And so those type of things will definitely, like I say, spark up the criticism, and it's justified in my opinion. Now, turning on him, saying he's a bust or throwing him away, that's a different story. And yeah, that's probably just a overreaction because of the fact that it's been a poor season for him. However, I think that it's something that he can fix, in my opinion. Let's see. Najee will be known as N2K once we draft a few beast linemen. That's possible too. I mean, that's true. Once you have an offensive line in front of you that can make some big holes, and then anybody can run through them. But Najee should be a guy that once he gets into the second level and he's going up against defensive backs, should run him over instead of try to shake him out. It's just some young player mistakes that he'll get better with over time. Let's see. Will Kazi make an impact? Oh, good question, Mark D. I think he's going to make a huge impact. I think you're going to see less Robert Spillane in passing, obvious passing downs, and in coverage. There was times where, Robert Spillane said that he had defensive back duties while he was out there. I think it was against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because of the injuries and also because of the formations that they had implemented that they were running defensively and what Tampa Bay ended up showing on the field. And so, you're going to have less of those mismatches, in my opinion. You're going to have Robert Spillane on the sideline. You're going to have either DeMonte KZ coming up because he's a physical safety as well in the box, or in my opinion, I prefer the bigger, stronger, more physical safety in the box. Terrell Edmonds coming up and being in the box and replacing Robert Spillane. I think also you're going to see some more disguises, especially because you have TJ Watt up back and allowing you to have pressure coming up front from fewer run defensive pass rushers. That will allow for more exotic and different coverages in the backfield to give the quarterback a different look that they may not have seen. Up until this point, the Steelers may not have played a lot of 3 safety looks, so there's not a lot of tape on it. So it's going to be something that potentially could confuse the quarterback and potentially can cause for a mistake. One that could give the Steelers the ball in optimum field position or potentially a score on defense. But I think KZ is going to have a huge impact on this game, just based on the type of scheme that the Steelers are going to be able to run, and it'll be able to hide some things and thus, potentially maybe make the quarterback hold on to the ball a little bit longer. It'll allow TJ Watt to get there and also the other guys to get around him and potentially cause a sack or a sack fumble. So all those things are true. So I'm looking forward to Kazi. I was excited for what the Steelers were going to do with him coming into the season. It was unfortunate that he broke his forearm and dislocated his wrist. I believe it was ended up being 2 different injuries on the same arm, I believe. Pretty crazy stuff. Who will be cut in place of TJ? You know what, man? I'm not sure. That one's a good question. It's probably going to be, who do you cut? That's a good question. It's probably just some, defensive back, or man, you don't really have any right now. I don't know. I'll think about that and let you know, Mark. Great question. I have no idea who they're going to take out. Let's see. Robert says, if someone says the Steelers are waiting to 4:00 Saturday to activate TJ, I wouldn't be surprised. They're probably going to have a walkthrough or a practice tomorrow, given the fact that they're also playing at home, and just, do some warm-ups, some sprints, and make sure that the person that nobody gets injured, nobody pulls a hamstring, things of that nature. Because if somebody ends up doing one of those things, they'll just IR them or, cut that person. And then that's when they'll put TJ Watt in. But it's probably going to depend on that thing. On that, it's going to depend on after that practice. Maybe there's two guys, one bone type of situation where, all right, show us what you got in this practice, and whoever outperforms the other guy would win. But on a Saturday practice, it's more likely just a walkthrough. And so, like I said, I'm pretty sure they have an idea of who they're going to cut. They're just going to wade through and make sure that nobody twists an ankle or anything like that. Jared Devil says Marcus Allen. I don't know, man. He plays a lot on. I mean, he doesn't play a lot at all. He's just on the punt. And he got us that first down. But the Steelers are not afraid to cut or trade people who most recently got us points. I mean, you look at the last receiver and the last, I guess, quarterback or person to throw the ball for a touchdown. They got traded to Chicago. So Steelers aren't afraid to do that. But yeah, Marcus Allen could be one. Mark hopes it's Marcus Allen. Aaron J says, do you think Canada will ever call a good game? I mean, maybe. I don't know about this game. This game does have some, the Saints have some stars on defense. They got some names. I know they're a little bit injured, but they still got some people. And I anticipate this being a defensive matchup. I think the Steelers win, and I think the Steelers can do some good stuff. But I'm not, until I see the Steelers put up points and start making a turnaround, I'm not going to put too much faith in the offense right now. Let's see. Who will win the coin toss? I hope the Steelers do that, where we can defer to the second half, and that way we can get the defense out there, get TJ Watt, into the game and get the electricity going and get the momentum. Let's see. How will our tackles hold up against their D-line? Tackles have been doing decent. I know last week they gave up, the Steelers as a whole gave up a lot of sacks, but not all of them were on the offensive line. There were a couple of things that the quarterback didn't see, where he bailed out the wrong way and got sacked going because he bailed out backwards versus climbing the pocket. So not all of them were his fault. However, I do think this is a game that's going to be tough. The one thing you look at, though, and the one positive you see is that, our offensive line is coming off of, 2 weeks since they've played. They're coming off of the bye week. And the New Orleans Saints were chasing Lamar Jackson around just a few days ago. And so, they're coming off a short week where they played and basically got embarrassed at home against the Baltimore Ravens. So, they have a chance to catch him on a short week and maybe not up to par, so to speak. Great question, though. That would be a good one. Cut Grandin Green. Man, I would. That guy, I know the Steelers liked him early, and there was a question. There was this battle between him and Dotson. And I thought the Steelers would go with him just because of his mobility and his ability to pull. And I think that they really liked him because of that, and they tried to give him every opportunity to be that guy. But, man, he just really never showed up. He never did. It's unfortunate. Steelers Nation Australia says, will Andy Dalton poop his pants? I think he will, man. I think TJ Watt's going to knock him into the next week. Not figuratively or anything like that. Just kind of in the sense where he's going to have a long day and a rough day. And it's going to cause him to have some turnovers, in my opinion. I think this is going to be a good game for the Steelers and the Steelers defense. I wouldn't be surprised if the defense scores. It's been a while. Minkah Fitzpatrick has had 2 potential interceptions turn into touchdowns for the other team, where he just, didn't high point the ball, did his best Claypool impersonation, so to speak. And, I think he thinks about those plays. And if he gets that opportunity against Andy Dalton, I assure you he's coming down with that ball and potentially taking it back to the house. So I'm looking forward to it. The Brown Rocket. Uh, Aaron Jade says Dalton is immobile. We should have a field day. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Mark agrees with you. I think so also though. He's not that guy anymore. He's been there a while, and I think that when you look at the returning players on this defense, I understand that we might have a big question mark at the cornerback position, but a cornerback's best friend is a pass rush. TJ Watt and these guys coming in against this line that's coming in kind of limping, so to speak. It's going to be a good game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So my predictions, we'll jump to that. I think the Steelers win this game 20-9. I don't think that the New Orleans Saints cross the end zone. I think they put up 3 field goals. I think the Steelers they get one drive where they score a touchdown, get another couple drives with field goals, and I think the defense puts them in position for either this defense scored a touchdown or the Steelers defense put them in position for a touchdown. And so all in all, I'm saying 20-9. The Steelers still don't get above 20 points in this game. But in order to do so, I think the Steelers need to protect the ball. They need to control the line of scrimmage and control the time of possession. Najee and Jalen Warren need to get going. They need to get going, and the Steelers need to not get away from it. There's been times where, the Steelers are running really well. You go back to the Jets game. Najee's doing good, and then they just stop. And that is on the offensive coordinator. To not want to. How can I put it? To not try to take over the game in his image, so to speak, kind of be able to adapt with players that you have and the situation, what's going on. I get you want to show off these play designs and everybody's talking smack about you as an offensive coordinator. But, if the running game's working, run the ball. I assure you, the Pittsburgh Steelers fans will appreciate the victory a lot more than if you came out with some kind of crazy plan and it didn't work and the Steelers lost or whatever the case may be. And so let me know, what are y'all's score predictions in the live chat? I'm saying 20-9. And I'm saying that the Steelers are going to have a +2 in the turnover game there. Let me know what you guys think in the live chat. Let's see. I'm going to put this one here. Patricia is saying that Andy Dalton's having nightmares about TJ. Yeah, he sure is. In fact, one of my good friends, Chris Hendricks, he's a New Orleans Saints fan. In fact, we did a show last night together. Go back and watch that one if you would, please. It was a good show, in my opinion. We got to talk a little bit about the Saints versus Steelers and what to expect from the Saints. And he was telling me, he's like, man, TJ Watt would come back for our game. It's like he talks about the Saints having a pretty bad luck season up to this point. And so he brings that up. We talk about that. Go watch that one after this show. We'll be getting off here pretty soon. Let's see. Steelers Nation Australia says he's got 24-21 Steelers, but he hopes they win 41-0. Man, wouldn't that be amazing if the Steelers just blew the New Orleans Saints out and won by like 20 points, put up 30-something points, 40 points on the board? Steelers haven't done something like that since they played the Carolina Panthers a few years back. And they won, I think it was like 56-3 or something like that, or 56-7. Yeah, it's been a long time since the Steelers did something like that. It would be great to do that again and just to get some confidence. This team needs confidence. Najee Harris he did a podcast recently, and the guy just looked like frustrated and defeated. When he answered, it was like with annoyance. Some of the questions, the questions they were asking him, were probably questions you want to know the answers to, or you would love for him to say, oh yeah, man, the offensive line sucks. They're not giving me holes. When they ask him, why do you think you're not doing so well this year? He can't do that. You would like him to answer it that way. You would love for him to say, oh man, Matt Canada sucks. We need to fire him. But he can't say that. He can't do that. And so all you do by asking him those types of questions is make him uncomfortable and put him in a situation where it looks like he's not having the best of time. And so go check it out. Go find it. It's I feel bad for him. Let's see. Aaron Jade says 24-17. I'm assuming that's Steelers. I think that with TJ Watt back and Larry Young and Joby back, my biggest concern in this game is probably Alvin Kamara. And if the Steelers can stop him and and really focus in on him, I think the Steelers definitely win this game. Let's see. Do you think Sims will have a big return this week? Man, I think so, man. That guy seems like every time he touches the ball, as a returner, something explosive happens. It may not be, all the way to the house or anything like that, but man, he sure does get some yards. There's a difference when you see his the electricity from how shifty he is compared to some of the other returners. There definitely is a difference there. Steelers Nation Australia says the Steelers need a blowout to win to install some confidence. I agree. So, guys, with that being said, I just want to remind everybody that we're giving away, we'll be going away here pretty soon, but I want to remind everybody that we're giving away 2 tickets to the Steelers versus Vegas Raiders game. We'll be giving away those tickets tomorrow. I've already put in the link in this description, the links to enter into that contest or the show for that contest. Now, we'll be giving them away tomorrow live. I believe it's going to be around, I think it was around 8 p.m. Pittsburgh time. And so you have 2 ways to enter into this contest. Well, let's talk about how you enter. Tomorrow we'll be going live, and you'll be given a code word to enter into the live chat. Now, I use something called the StreamYard random selector tool. And what that is going to do is going to select the keyword that I enter that I give you tomorrow. And it'll select a commenter in the live chat at random, somebody who comments that word. And that will be the person that wins the tickets. Now, you'll have to be present tomorrow. So ring that notification bell. Because I'm only going to give you 60 seconds from the time that we call out a winner until the time you have to claim them. If you don't claim them within a minute, we're going to the next person. The way you claim the tickets is you're going to acknowledge yourself in the live chat. I'll see it. Say, hey, I'm here. And at that point, I'll instruct you what to do next. But there will be an email and a verification that we'll have to do to make sure that somebody else doesn't email me and say that they won, things of that nature. And so there's 2 ways to enter in. A subscriber here on State of the Steelers, a subscriber on my sister show called The Drunk Turkey Show, where we talk about, we drink a little bit. We talk about film reviews, conspiracy theories, sometimes UFOs. We also talk true crime. One of our biggest shows that blew up has over 14,000 views and almost 3,000 watch hours right now is on the Delphi murders. And if you're interested in those type of things, I highly recommend giving us a subscribe there. But tomorrow it'll be paired together, those 2 shows. So there'll be 2 live chats going on at the same time. So you can enter through both of them or just one of them. But yeah, tomorrow, just be unaware. I already put the links in the description. So good luck. If you win, man, I would just appreciate some pictures of the game and things of that nature. So with that being said, guys, I think the Steelers are going to win this week. Let's, it's at almost 3,000 right now. It's pretty crazy. Go Steelers though. Steelers are this is the start of getting back to respectability and getting back in the hunt and getting back into the mix of things and getting out of the basement, in my opinion. So with that being said, guys, good luck on everybody that enters into the contest and good luck this weekend. I'm Daniel J. This is State of the Steelers. Peace.